Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Bell Ringers podcast. Colin Daly alongside Benjamin Goldstein. And, folks, we have a lot on the agenda today, don't we, Ben? We have a packed
we got
schedule.
a lot has popped up the week before opening day, as usual.
We've got 6 agenda items here for you today. A lot of personnel things. We want to talk about some trades, some news, as they would say on the New Heights podcast. New news.
New news.
No, this isn't.
Do you listen to New Heights?
I do. I listen a little bit. I don't watch the whole episodes. I'll watch the clips.
Yeah.
I've been on a weird true crime spree lately. I don't know where that's come from, but if anyone's looking for a good true crime podcast, Crime Junkie, it's on Spotify. They do a really good job. I was listening to it on the bus.
Well, make sure you listen to Philly Sports first.
Oh yeah, do that too. Make sure to check out Ben's podcast that he does on every Saturday, Sunday.
Yes, Saturday.
Every Saturday.
Sometimes Sundays I try and do Saturdays. Sometimes it doesn't work, but we shoot for Saturdays.
Yep. Yeah. All right. So we should just jump right into this.
We have to.
Phillies have 2 injuries that are going to be hindering the opening day roster a little bit. The first one, which has been anticipated for a while now, is Orion Kerkering. He had some illness issues going on. He was sidelined for a while. His throwing routine got behind, and that's kind of altered the Phillies bullpen structure. Now, the one thing we know about Rob Thompson is that he loves his closer by committee. If you go on the Phillies roster right now, I believe they have Jose Alvarado listed as the official closer, but Rob Thompson sees his closer as the person who faces the best part of the lineup, the opposing lineup, in that team's last at bat, not who pitches the 9th inning. So Alvarado is going to be that guy, I would assume. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely with the best arm in the bullpen, power throwing left-hander, and he's been the Phillies' most reliable guy the last 2 seasons. And I mean, Jose just seems to be getting better and better with the years, and hopefully he continues it this year. But they also will have a fully healthy Sir Anthony Dominguez. They have a good Jeff Hoffman if he can continue what he had last year. So they have a lot of guys that can throw out there in different situations, but Jose Alvarado will be the guy this year in the bullpen, which was ranked number 1 by the MLB Network, which was absurd.
It was. I was shocked.
Imagine hearing that in like 2020.
2020. Oh, I have like vivid memories, like sitting down. I don't know why, but I was down the shore during that 60-game season.
That was so bad.
Just sitting on my couch watching these games from New Jersey, and there was one game, and I was like, "That's it. I'm done. I can't do this anymore."
Who was the guy that blew all the games?
Brandon Workman. Workman.
Hey.
Forget it.
That's before Colin and I were even doing these podcasts. We knew each other.
When I first started covering the Phillies, Brandon Workman was one of the first stories that I covered.
I'm sorry.
Back in 2020, I know. 5 seasons. 5 seasons ago. That was one of the first stories I covered. It was the Brandon Workman and Heath Hembree trade.
That was
from the Boston Red Sox to the Phillies.
Let's stay positive.
We should. Well, while we're staying positive, we're going to go out of order here, Ben. We may as well hit all the bullpen topics now. I think that makes the most sense. Who's one guy that's impressed you this spring? Because I think there's an obvious answer here.
I have liked a lot of what I've seen from a lot of different guys, but Junior Marte, in his 9 appearances in his 10 innings, has a 0 ERA and a .8 WHIP.
Yeah,
and 7 strikeouts. He has looked unbelievable, and if he better be on this roster because he looks really good.
He does. And I'll tell you, he struggled last year. It's a pretty known fact. ERA over 5. I think part of that is that he was up and down between the major and minor leagues throughout the course of the 2023 season. And that it's a very, very hard ship to sail when you're a young player who's progressing and trying to have some sort of consistency in, your life, your daily schedule, that kind of. It's like It's simple stuff like that. It might not be directly correlated to baseball, but does impact the player on the field. And he was the guy last year, every year. There's always that one guy who bounces up and down and up and down and up and down. I'll never forget. I'm going to go back again. I'm sorry.
Oh no.
It might have been 2021. Maybe it was pre-COVID. Can't remember. Remember Austin Davis? You probably don't. He was a pitcher.
I do.
He was a reliever. Yeah, I want to
do
say he was like a tall, lanky lefty. He ended up on the Pirates. For maybe it wasn't a lefty. I can't remember, but he ended up on the Pirates. I know that. And it was before they instituted the rule stating that you can only be transacted between the major and minor leagues 5 times in the season. And he came up probably 10 times that year. It was insane.
Yeah.
Now, I know that he was always one of the guys for the doubleheader every single time. And whenever a guy got hurt, Austin Davis, because they had no depth. They had no depth. So it was Austin Davis up. Oh, he's back. The guy's back from the injured list. Austin Davis down. It went over and over again. It wasn't as extreme because of the rule that I just mentioned, but that was Junior Marte last year. He had no consistency. I think that hurt him a lot.
Rob Thompson went to him a lot. Like he had 40 appearances last year, 5.03 ERA. He saved a couple games. He threw almost 40 innings, 38 Ks, 1.6 WHIP. Like he pitched a lot, and a lot of those appearances were bad. Obviously, with the 5.3 or 5.03 ERA. But he has looked like a whole different guy this year, and he's on. I put out my opening day roster the other day, and he's on there.
Yeah. And I know you don't always like the stuff, Ben, but his metrics last year were very good too. They did not tell the story of a guy with a 5.03 ERA and a guy that had a 5.44 ERA the season before. I mean, he was allowing a lot of soft contact. He kept the ball on the ground a ton. But his big issue is that when he wasn't doing that, the damage was too significant. He left a couple pitch. He is a hard-throwing, right-handed pitcher who lacks control. And
sounds like me.
We see it a lot. I mean, Jose Alvarado from the left side back in 2022. Throwing strikes was his kryptonite.
It was.
And if they can look at Marte and have a Jose Alvarado-like adjustment, he's going to be lights out. Because like I said, he's not allowing hard contact. He has good stuff. But when he makes a mistake, damage is done. And the damage isn't a single up the middle. It's a double. And then the next mistake he makes goes over the fence. And that's where his struggles really come into play. Because, I mean, he pumps that fastball up there, 98, 99. His slider, it's a slider or cutter, I can't remember, it's vile. It's disgusting. It's unhittable.
I think it's I don't know if it might be his slider.
I think you're right. I think it's a slider. But he walks too many guys. It's the simple fact.
Well, hopefully, he can cut that down. He's looked really good.
He has.
Yeah, he has.
He has this spring.
It's just big difference spring training to Major League Baseball, and you'll see the jump on Thursday or Friday whenever.
Right. However, a walk is a walk. So obviously, some of the guys in spring training might be swinging more than they usually would, but you still have his job is that he still has to throw it in the strike zone, right? So, I mean, just glancing at his stats here, it does look like his walks have come down.
There you go.
5 in 10 innings, which isn't great, but it's better than where he was last year.
It's much better than where he has been.
Right? I mean, and especially in years past, in 2021, he had 5 and 6 1/3 innings in spring training. He had 2 and 1 2/3 innings when he allowed 7 runs. Back in 2019, he was with Kansas City. But the biggest thing in there for him is he hasn't allowed a single run, only 3 hits, and he struck out 7 guys. People aren't getting on base. That's all you can ask from him. That's what a relief pitcher's job is.
You mentioned how much Junior Marte was up and down last year. April 4th, the Iron Pigs activated Marte. and then they optioned, and then the Phillies optioned Marte to Lehigh Valley on April 4th. April 18th, the Phillies recalled him.
Ugh.
The 19th, he returned to Lehigh Valley. The 23rd, he was recalled. The 4th, the 4th, he was optioned. The 20th, he was recalled. The 20th of May. The 13th of June, he was optioned. The 17th of June, he was recalled. Then he was on the, and then August 13th, so he's had a little bit of time on the Major League roster. He was optioned back to Lehigh Valley. September 11th, he was recalled. The 22nd, he was optioned. The 2nd of October, he was recalled, and then was on the team for the playoffs. So I didn't pitch, but he was on the roster. So
Now, does that include call-ups for doubleheaders?
it might. I don't know.
Well, even if it does, just looking at, I think it was April, that was 4 transactions in 1 month that I believe you read. If you average that out, that's a transaction a week. That's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Driving from Lehigh Valley, or wherever Lehigh Valley was at that time, to Philadelphia, or wherever the Phillies were at that time, is insane. It's insane. I mean, it messes with so much stuff.
If you're not familiar with the area, it's not a quick drive. It's Lehigh Valley's up in Allentown. It's not close. It's far. It's like you're going from Philadelphia to a little bit of Upper PA. So
Well, yeah, it's that. It's not only the drive. It's the fact that you don't know how long you're staying up there. Right? Yeah. It's that you get a call. If the Phillies play, let's say I'll be as generous as I can. They play a 1:00 game on Sunday. It ends at 4. Junior Marte finds out at 5 p.m. he's being sent to Philadelphia. He's got to do all of his post game routine at Lehigh Valley, wrap up there, do all of his post game interviews and all that crap, go back to his hotel, pack his stuff, get everything ready to go down to Philadelphia, and then get there. You're getting there at like 2 a.m. It's insane. I mean, we're not Major League Baseball players. I don't know how the process really works, but I know there are some things that have to happen that are almost inhumane. And I think that's really part of the reason they instituted this rule. Because you're not effective if that's your lifestyle. So, I know we're not here to evaluate the rule, but I think it's a great rule because
it helps,
and it gives players a little bit more respect too, because it's ridiculous how much some of these guys would go up and down before this rule was implemented. So, but yeah,
all right, let's keep moving. Another pitcher that's on the IL. We talked about Orion Kirkring, who seems to be in the fight against. Seems to be in a war with the flu. I mean, I can't even imagine. Taiwan Walker is a right shoulder in pigment. Felt like he wasn't getting the proper zip. Obviously, he could throw next week, but he's going to start in the IL. He's been a mess. He's been so bad. His velocity's been all the way down. He's been really bad. And he was behind schedule with his rehab. He's been a mess. Is this a fake injury? Does he really want to be in Philadelphia? Should the Phillies go get Taiwan Walker? Or not Jordan Montgomery. Colin, you have sources. What are you hearing?
What am I hearing? Well, I'm hearing that Spencer Turnbull is going to be the Phillies' 5th starter.
That's true.
On opening, I guess that would be opening week, not opening weekend. But I can't see them going out and spending more money this offseason.
Well, I mean, Dave Dombrowski said today that they're not in the starting pitching market. So get Montgomery out of your head. That's not happening. That dude is going to go unsigned for I don't know how long. But, no one's going to sign a dude 2 days before the season. That's just not how baseball works.
Yeah, and that confuses me because he was really, really good last year too.
No one wants to give him a long-term deal, and that's all it sounds like he's looking for. So I don't really know what's up.
He's not going to get a deal. Because he's not in a position where a team's going to want him for more than 3, maybe 4 years. And even if it were at that 4-year mark, he's not going to get the money that he wants. It's a trading game for him. Teams would give him a high dollar deal for a low number of years, but he wants that same high dollar deal with a higher number of years as well. And every time a team hits +1 on the year ticker, they're subtracting some average annual value, and the AAV is what's going to turn him away from signing a contract. But no, Turnbull's going to be the Phillies' fifth starter. He's been okay in spring training. He started one game. He's pitched in 4. 2.25 ERA, small sample size. He did struggle last year. 7 starts, 31 innings. He allowed 25 earned runs.
Well, he was bad. He was coming off of that Tommy John surgery. This is going to be his first full season off the surgery, and I've liked what I've seen from spring from Turnbull. He had that one disgusting inning. I mean, that was gross. And I am fine. I had him on my opening day roster with Walker active. I had Turnbull in my bullpen, and it's gonna go per, I think Matt Geld put this out. It's gonna be Wheeler, Nola,
Suarez,
Ranger, and then they'll go Sanchez, and then they'll go Wheeler again, and then they'll go Turnbull.
Right, because you have that day, that Friday, they're off.
Unless they play on open day on Friday because it's supposed to rain on Thursday,
and that's going to mess up the rotation.
Yeah, but then I think they'll just go with the 5 straight, and they won't have Wheeler start.
Right.
It sounds like they want their ace to start on BOGO night, so because that would be Tuesday.
Right, that makes sense.
Do you see Crossing Broads doing their own Dollar Dog night in the parking lot?
As they should. Let them do it.
It's fun. Good for Crossing Broad.
I'm not a huge dog guy. I think we talked about this.
We did. You don't eat hot dogs. That's absurd.
No, I don't eat hot dogs. Well, I'll say back to the Turnbull thing before I move on. I think it's actually a great job by the Phillies because he has a little bit of everything. In 2021, he was great. He only made 9 starts with a 2.88 ERA.
That's when he had a surgery.
He limited the long ball. And then, of course, the surgery hurt him. That's the bottom line. But if he can return to where he was in 2021, he's going to stay in the Phillies rotation. 9 starts, he only allowed 2 home runs. A crazy number to me is 12 walks, 50 innings, compared to 15 walks in 31 innings last year, and an ERA of 2.88. Even in 2020, when he pitched I'm doing the math, a full season in what was a 60-game season, a 3.97 ERA. And then he wasn't great in 2019 with the Tigers, a 4.61 ERA, but he has starts on his stat sheet from 2019, which tells me that he knows how to manage the workload of pitching a full season. And the Phillies are playing their cards right. He should be preparing to pitch a full season right now. That's the mindset he should be going in with, because if the situation arises where he needs to do so, he has to be prepared for that. But he checks off all the boxes for a qualified starter for me. He's kind of like a Noah Syndergaard at the trade deadline. Very similar situations. Was very good in the past. Had Tommy John surgery. We're taking a gamble now. How effective can he be? And we're really going to have to wait and see.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, and even if this does, it'll only be for a little bit, because it sounds like Walker's not going to be out for an extended period of time. Even though I think I'd rather him be out for a while. So we'll see.
Not a huge Walker fan. I think
it's always something about when these former Mets, other than Zach Wheeler, but when these former Mets come here, or these like former Dallas Cowboys come and play for the Eagles, like it's always something up.
Oh, remember we did a big Mets haul a couple years ago. We picked up Jason Vargas as Drupal Cabrera.
Oh my God.
Wilson Ramos.
Hey, that was the weirdest Phillies season ever, 2018. Rhys Hoskins was the everyday starting left fielder that year. Carlos Santana
behind the plate.
Carlos Santana at first. Michael Franco at third. Scott Kingery was the shortstop. The Phillies had over 100 errors that year.
And everyone thought that team was going to be in the playoffs too.
Yeah, we thought the team was going. We thought that 2019 team was going to win the World Series with Odubel Herrera as our 6 hole. That lineup was.
I know, but
I
it makes
remember I
sense.
was at that opening day, and it was the most lit game ever. It was Andrew McCutchen, Gene Segura, Bryce Harper, Reese Hoskins, JT Realmuto, and then it was Odubel, Cesar Hernandez, Michael Franco, who we were all saying was the best 8-hole hitter in baseball, and then it was the pitcher select.
I'm not
That's
gonna
when
lie.
I met Colin Daly that September.
That lineup though was dirty.
The top 5 were
No,
disgusting.
that lineup was dirty because Michael Franco could hit when he was like 2017. When he was he could rake.
Michael
JT
Franco did
was
rake.
prime. Odubel Herrera was a 300 hitter and an All Star 3 years before that.
Yeah, and then he
And
became.
Cesar has been overrated since he came to Phillies.
I
I love
loved.
Cesar Hernandez. I did too. I love Cesar Hernandez,
I
but
loved that core
he
that we
wasn't as
had for a
good.
little bit from like 2016 to 2018, where it was, or 2017, I guess it was Cesar, Freddie Galvis, and Michael Franco. They were good. Freddie
Galvis is
Galvis
so
was good.
overhyped. No, he is so
Galvis,
overhyped.
Freddie Galvis wasn't a great hitter, but his defense was very good, and he had the throw.
He was a Jeter like player. He could make some ridiculous plays. If you hit him a routine ground ball, it's gonna go right through that guy's legs.
Well, I mean that's 2016-17 Phillies.
That's true. That's true.
Those were fun years. Those
All
were
right,
not. Jeremy Hellickson was the ace.
That's true. Oh my! I love Jeremy Hellickson. I don't know why.
Most
I thought he was the
nonchalant dude
coolest dude
ever.
ever.
So nonchalant. He
See,
just threw the ball.
I could have sworn that man was capable of throwing a baseball 105 miles per hour, but instead he chose to lob a 90-mile-per-hour fastball for all of his pitches. It looked so. It was the most ever. If you're listening, you've never seen Jeremy Hellickson pitch. Find a video online. He is the most relaxed, not giving a care in the world pitcher ever. I mean, he just tosses it. It's batting practice watching him pitch, but then it somehow comes in at 90 miles per hour. I don't get it. Well, while Ben gets that up, we're gonna move into our next segment about the outfield. So, in case you guys have been living under a Phillies rock for the past, I don't know, 72 hours, Phillies made a lot of announcements. Cave, he's gone. He's a Colorado Rocky. Johan Rojas and Christian Pache will both be making the roster opening day. It's presumed that Johan Rojas will be your starting center fielder. He's going to get an opportunity to prove himself as an offensive player in that 9-hole, really serving as a double leadoff. I'd say he's actually serving as the leadoff hitter because you have Kyle Schwarber.
This is opening day 2016. Jeremy Hellickson. The guy just threw the ball. I mean, like, there's no leg kick. There's my boy Freddie to Ryan Howard.
That's Ryan Howard.
Like, no.
Is that Ruppy behind the plate? Or is that Ruiz?
That's Chooch.
Okay.
But like, he just kind of like lobbed it. It was like kind of beautiful.
He had
a little bit of a stretch.
Hey, he wasn't bad he was an all-star, I think, back with the Diamondbacks a long time ago.
All right. Anyway, back to the outfield.
Yeah. So, what are your thoughts on the whole Rojas Pache situation?
Johan Rojas is one of the best fielders we have ever seen. If he has a full season out there, played 162 games, he would break the metrics. Like, he would literally break every stat sheet ever. Like, it'd be absurd.
And he's going to.
The only problem is...
Oh, he doesn't think he's going to. You got to be kidding me.
He's going to be the double leadoff guy, and he's going to be batting he's going to be batting worse than Schwarber. No, but his spring has been really bad. I haven't seen many improvements from what I saw from Johan Rojas in the postseason last year. His regular season, he batted like 3-something. It was great. Postseason, where it really mattered, the guy couldn't put bat on ball. He got huge this postseason. He worked on bunting and everything, but still was unable to hit the ball. Did not walk once about a month through spring training. So if I were the Phillies, I said in our last pod, I would start Rojas in AAA and just have him hit, develop him. And you have Christian Pache, who, yes, is not as good of a fielder out there. He's still a good fielder, good enough, and you can even put him in left field and have Marsh in center. But whatever you want to do is whatever. And I think that is a better solution. And then you also are able to have another lefty on the bench instead of your only lefty hitter on the bench being Garrett Stubbs, who is not a good hitter.
Yeah.
I
So
know in April it doesn't really matter. It doesn't because it's April. Like the games aren't huge yet. But the Phillies have been stressing so much to get off to a hot start. They have the schedule to do it. And it doesn't seem like they're taking that approach by taking a still somewhat developing player in Johan Rojas and then also Christian Pache and only having one lefty bat where they're both kind of still developing. I mean, Pache is kind of developed, but Rojas still needs a lot of developing on the offensive side of the ball.
I'm not overly concerned about the lefty righty thing. Is there anyone in the Phillies lineup that you would want to sub out to put in your righty for? Because I mean, Rojas is really the main guy there, but I'd rather have a guy like Merrifield, who sure, is he still going to be the all-star that we saw back? I think it was last year. He was actually on the all-star team. He's not going to be the all-star from 2023, but the right-handed bat, I'd much rather see him in there than like a left-handed Cave. Because Jay Cave hasn't done anything in the major league levels in his entire career. He's really, really good in AAA. Great in AAA. But he doesn't really serve that much major league value. The other thing is, I don't know how much Johan Rojas in the 9-hole is going to affect the Phillies' offense. And if it gets late in the game and you need a pinch hitter, I'm going to Merrifield 10 out of 10 times, unless Rojas hits like he did during the regular season last year, which I don't think. I mean, tons of players have slow springs. It's super common. Harper's having a slow spring. Castellanos is having a slow spring.
I'm
Very
not
common.
guys. The only guy I'm concerned with is who we'll get to in a little bit, who has a back issue. But continue.
But you have to give him a chance to show that he can do during the regular season last year. The guy hit 300 his first couple months in Major League Baseball. I don't think it's fair to overlook that.
However, in his first spring training as a major league player, he in 53 at bats has 9 hits, 0 homers.
Then are we cutting Bryce Harper?
His
50 points above him.
Well, we'll get to that. His 170 average, 214 on base percentage. I mean,
what's Nick Castellanos' average?
We know what we're going to get from him. We don't know what we're going to get from Johan Rojas.
It doesn't mean we can just cut him.
I'm not saying you're going to cut him.
Well, you said you should start the season in AAA, which is cutting him.
Johan Rojas is 23 years old. Nick Castellanos is 30-something.
But are we cutting him or not? That's the question I'm asking.
Johan Rojas is not getting cut.
Well, you wanted to cut him and send him to AAA.
I said develop him because he hasn't improved. Nick Castellanos, it's spring training for the guys who
Hold on. Are you developing him on the bench or in AAA?
I would, if I'm the Phillies, you know exactly what you're getting from your starting guys. Johan Rojas had to prove something to me this spring training. He proved to me he's not ready offensively. While he may have hit great in the regular season, he had 103 and 45 hits and 149 at bats. It's really good. 772 OPS for a rookie season. Although Mr. I don't like batting average is looking at the batting averages now. I mean, it's a weird situation. My also part of it is now they're carrying both, so it really doesn't matter. But if you had Pache's out of options, so you would have had to cut him. which was my main concern because I don't want to lose Pache. I think he's valuable for
I
the
agree
time
with
being.
that. Yeah, you don't get rid of Pache.
But now they're carrying both, so now we're at the point at who cares?
Yeah,
Because
again, I'm
intrinsic.
not overly concerned with the lefty righty thing. I don't. I'm
It's
not saying I
April, so
don't.
I'm not concerned yet.
Plus, I don't think there's gonna be that many pinch hit opportunities. Like I said earlier, who in this lineup are you gonna sub out? Marsh, maybe, but it's gonna be for a righty. And righty wise, the only guy that I can see getting swapped out with a good righty in there is Rojas. And honestly, I think I'd rather have Merrifield in there than any other lefty in this organization.
Yeah,
Or that
Merrifield.
was previously in this organization,
I feel
aka
like
the state.
I would have liked Whit Merrifield starting in left field and Marsh in center, and then Pache comes off the bench and Rojas in AAA. I feel like that could have also worked. It's not
Yeah,
going, but they signed Chris. They signed Whit Merrifield, knowing he wasn't going to start, and they weren't. It sounded like they had no plans of changing his role, and he knew that. So that's where they're going with that.
yeah.
So it is what it is. And also Pache slash line this spring, 282, 333, 820. So it's
Right,
much
and
better
you
than
don't cut that. You don't cut that.
no.
All right. Well, while we're talking about some outfielders, let's go to a former outfielder. What's the update on Bryce Harper, Ben?
So Bryce Harper had back stiffness, didn't play for a week, hit a home run on the backfield the other day, went back and played. His first game was on Friday at first base. I don't know exactly what he did in all these games. I can look. No way. MLB.com doesn't have it. All right, whatever. But Bryce was injured for a little bit. He's back. And he hasn't looked great, but it's also probably because of his back. My concern is of this lingering for a little bit and him being affected by it, but also part of me is like it's Bryce Harper and he's a superhuman. So, but if I were the Phillies, I had Luke Arcady from the Fox Sports The Gambler on my podcast, and he said, and I agree with him with this: is early in the season you don't have to play Bryce every day. You can give him an off day like once or twice a week to begin the season.
Yep.
Let him rest that back, and then ramp him up slowly back to playing, which I agree with. I mean, he's going to start opening day, of course, and he'll probably start all of opening weekend. But it's Bryce Harper, so he's not going to want not to play, but he's 31 years old. He's starting to, get injured more easily, and you can't risk anything. So,
no. I'm not worried about Harper. He has found a way to hit with broken bones and every injury in the book.
he
So
hit better when he
with.
had a torn UCL in his arm. Like, he hit better. Like, his biggest hit of his career came when he probably should have had Tommy John a couple months before that. So
He's special. He is special. All right. So before we move on to our last topic, our last big topic of the episode, Matt Strom, a sneakily good member of the Phillies 2023 bullpen, was given an extension through 2025 with an option for 2026, the year the Phillies are hosting the All-Star game in Philadelphia. Also, the year that Ben and I are graduating high school. And personally, I think that we are going to need to take a trip down to Citizens Bank Park because
a lot going on. There's a lot going. The World Cup's going to be here.
I know.
The All-Star game. It's going like World Cup. There's a couple games, and then there's like a round of 16 or whatever, and then the week after that's the All-Star. Like, it's going to be absurd. It's going to be ridiculous down there. And in the middle of the construction they're trying to do, forget about it. So,
oh my gosh. All I can hear is horns honking on I-95.
oh my god, it's terrible getting down there now. Imagine all these people from other cities and countries trying to navigate that. Like, we've got it down to a science. Now you got these newcomers coming in trying to do it. Oy, forget
it's gonna be bad. Yeah, it's definitely gonna be a mess. But yeah, I'm happy with the Strom deal. He definitely deserved it. He was good last year. He was consistent. He did his job when he needed. He's not really going to be the guy who's going to put into high stakes situations, but 6th, 7th inning, and you need your 3 outs, he can give you the 3 outs. And that's the kind of guy that you need in your bullpen. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. If we could put 9 Matt Stroms in the bullpen, I would take that team in a heartbeat. He's consistent. He's
Reliable left-hander, a lot of hair, ultimate baseball guy. He jumps over the foul line.
has his own
He's also
YouTube channel and TV show.
he's a baseball card guy, so respect, man.
There's a little bias for me there, considering I'm sitting in a room with about 18,000 baseball cards in it. There's bias there. I'll admit that. But I shouldn't say 18,000. 18,000 sports cards, not all baseball. But he's definitely deserving. All right, Ben. Our last topic's a fun one. Bring us into it. It's my favorite thing to talk about. So, well, one
Really,
of
I
the
thought this was like the topic where like, oh, I don't care. Like this is like
oh no,
prime Colin Daly that I don't care.
It's not the. Give us your first one first.
What's up?
Well, there's two new things in the ballpark we're talking about. What's the first?
All right. So there's a lot going on at Citizens Bank Park. It's the 20th year of Citizens Bank Park, and it looks brand new. So it's really well kept, very good stadium. But we're gonna start with. Hold on, let me pull it up. We're gonna start with the out of town scoreboard because it's controversial. And we're gonna discuss it. Here it is. Hold on 1 second. And boom. There's the new out of town scoreboard. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 advertisements, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4 score boxes on there compared to where there used to be every single game going on. Their argument is that everyone has the score in their pocket with their phone, which is true, but how much easier is it to just look up? I don't know. They want to make more money with the ads. It is what it is. I don't love it. I kind of like the design, but I don't really love it. And they used to have pitching stats on there. I'm not sure where those are going to go because it's all filled with ads, unless what they're maybe going to do is rotate between the pitching stats and the out of town scores. I was thinking the out of town scores. The ads stay, and just that middle part was the out of town scores that rotates with pitching stats. Maybe. I don't know.
I'll tell you, I really like what's between the Chick-fil-A sign and the Rothman sign. That part is beautiful. The out of town scoreboard, like the actual out of town scoreboard, is very nice. I like it a lot. I think they kept the authenticity and the art. I don't want to say archaic because this stadium was built in the 21st century, but the old school look. They kept the old school look but it's electronic now, which is obviously easier, a little bit more up to date. But the ads are very ugly.
Yes,
like very, very ugly.
They couldn't even make them match, because they have a brick looking separated between the ads.
That's gross.
That doesn't look good.
No, it does not.
And then with the ads, which have their own colored background. Also, some new ads on the third deck. A new McDonald's ad, a new Phillies win, you win. So that's exciting. It looks like they're getting a new ad on the right side. I don't remember even what was there. On the right side of the auxiliary scoreboard, which I think got a little bigger. I'm not sure. But, I mean, there it is. It is what it is. The modernization and money always wins. I put that out. The Phillies are moving away from their classy, traditioning way and becoming, as I said in the last podcast, very vanilla. So, yeah, I don't really.
Right. Let's get into my favorite thing about going to a Phillies game. You know what that is, Ben?
Food?
Of course it is. I love food.
All right, do you want me to go through all the foods?
Sure. Oh my gosh, this is great.
There's a lot of them. Per the Phillies release today, or I guess this is on Monday. It probably won't get up until Tuesday. They went through all the new stuff at the ballpark, and here we go. Briganti Wines, owned by Mike Costanzo, is now served at all bar locations. It's a wine. Awesome. Big Ma's. This might be cool. The mozzarella sticks at the ballpark. Fresh ingredients. They're big mozzarella sticks. We got a bar. some new cocktails and stuff. Four Walls, which is a whiskey. Kona Big Wave Bar. Some new Mango and Mango. They're expanding. Primo Hoagies has made it into the ballpark. That's awesome. Get some hoagies in this. Get some hoagies at the games. The bratwurst sandwich is a grilled brat topped
Did
with
you skip the fries?
We'll get back to that. Bratwurst sandwich, grilled brat topped with spicy mustard and beer braised onions on a Lachio bakery roll served with the house ranch chipped whale.
Sounds incredible. As it
That's
coming from a German
passing
student,
stuff.
that sounds incredible.
Ballpark Bomb fries. These new fries offered by PJ Bohands are exclusive to Sitzpick Park. Are exploding with flavor. You get that on Ashburn Alley. The Buffalo Chicken Hoagie for greens and grains. So this is like a buffalo chicken hoagie for the vegans. So good for them. Loaded funnel cake fries sundae. Fresh funnel cake fries topped with a homemade strawberry compote, vanilla soft serve, and whipped cream. That sounds really good.
Are you a funnel cake guy?
Yeah, I like some funnel cake. It's fine.
I mess with funnel cake.
The Schwarberger 2.0. Not many people got the 1.0, and I am proud to say I had some of the Schwarberger 1.0, and it was absolutely delicious. This one doesn't sound as good because it's going to be here all season. Fresh burger topped with American cheese, pepper, bacon, fried egg, crispy onions, and signature sauce. I don't like eggs or bacon, so I'm not going to eat this one. But the last one, I will take you in the order of how it was built. Onion ring, bun, onion ring, bacon, patty, brisket, onion ring, bun, onion ring. Unbelievable burger. It was great. I had that before at LCS game 1. What happened on the very first pitch of the game? Schwarbomb. It was all me. You're welcome. Wing flavor of the month. Open the season with the Flamin' Pickleback, followed by featured sauces. So there'll be a new flavor wing every month at PJ Wilhands. Gluten-free brownie. The Fastball Freeze, which is a new cocktail. And then there's new ice cream caps as well. So
Slush puppies too.
Yeah, so those are your new foods. There's a lot happening, and there's a lot going on.
I am nerding out right now. I love ballpark food. I love trying ballpark food. When I went to St. Louis, I did so much research into the ballpark food. I took 3 laps around the stadium just to decide what I wanted to eat. I'm hoping to go to. I did the same thing at PNC Park before I went there. Camden Yards, I was there for an event, so we got food served to us. I was a little disappointed because I do love my ballpark food, but
what are you going to try first?
100% the bratwurst sandwich with a non-alcoholic frozen slush puppy, and then I will get the wing of flavor of the month from PJ Wheelhands. That'll be like my dessert.
All right,
unfortunately, when I go to games, I'm usually good for about 3 meals. It's a bad habit, but my stomach can somehow handle it. However, Ben, I must give you some information now. After the recording of this episode, there's an app on my phone that I'm going to be heading to because I need to try some of this food. You know what app that's going to be, Ben? I'm putting a lot of pressure on you here.
Where are you going to get your tickets to go to this game and get this food? You're going to go to where, Colin?
SeatGeek.
SeatGeek is the best way to buy your tickets. The Phillies season is here. I can't believe I will be back at Citizens Bank Park literally this week. I'm so excited. Get your tickets now. Opening weekend tickets still available. And for the whole season, go to SeatGeek.com or download the SeatGeek app. Go link in the description. Buy your tickets for anything. Any sporting event, any concert, any comedy show, literally anything you need tickets to, you can get it on SeatGeek, and you're going to use code Philly Sports Report to save $20 off your first purchase. PHILLYSPORTSREPORT. What are you going to do, Colin?
Hold the S.
To save $20 off your first SeatGeek purchase. Thank you to SeatGeek for sponsoring all 51 episodes of this podcast. So thank you to SeatGeek. Thank you to you guys for watching and listening. Anything else we need to catch up on?
Show out on what's June 20th?
It's unannounced.
Okay, right. Yep.
It's on the down low. Colin, don't leave.
On the DL. I won't leave.
Don't
I
leave
won't leave.
this guy. Are you going?
I'm not. I'll be in Madrid.
Okay. Colin will not be there.
I will be
Well-
there in spirit from Spain. Oh my gosh, it's alliteration. I'll be there in spirit from Spain.
All right. Now he's really nerding out. Thank you, everybody,
I
for
know.
watching and listening. Episode
Yes.
51.
Thank
We will probably have a pod before opening day. We'll try and shoot for one. We'll let you know.
Yep.
Go follow us on Twitter.
Yeah.
Instagram, Facebook, Threads, TikTok. Follow both of us on Twitter. Rate us on the podcast apps. Use SeatGeek. Philly Sports Report. Thank you, everybody, for watching and listening. We will see you soon. Go Phils!
Go Phillies.